Hello. Um, Pride isn't necessarily a bad thing. Pride is, a good feeling derived from one's own achievements, which is reasonable. You should be proud of your own achievements, what you've done in life and everything, your progress that you've made. But, you, and maybe in some contexts, it's good to defend your pride, because you should defend yourself, and pride is a part of yourself. Um, Still, what I want to talk about today is to let go of pride and learn humility. Because, well, if you think of pride as a wall, a defensive wall, which is, well, it's a really useful thing, you still want to be able to get to the other side of the other side of that wall. And so humility in this sense is a door through that wall. Said you can still access the criticism you might receive from anyone, which is a source of growth. It's a source of teachings. It's a source of other people's perspectives, and you can always learn something from someone else's perspective. Give me a second. There we go. Still, you should obviously still, I guess, learn how to filter that criticism, because some people just aren't being constructive. They're just saying mean stuff to be mean, or try to get a reaction out of someone, or to make themselves feel better because they don't feel good. And I think that is something to pity, in that sense, specifically the last one. But I mean, you should be susceptible, receiving of any and all criticism, because you can always learn something from it. The humility here is to allow yourself to get it, because otherwise you might just write it off as, oh, this guy's just trying to be mean to me. So I don't really know how to talk about that specifically. If you should have some kind of filter, this guy is obviously being mean, but you can't really tell if someone's truly being, well, maybe you can. That's why I'm a bit confused about it, and so I won't talk about that. I mean, specifically, I guess okay. A thing I can talk about is receiving criticism from friends and family that you trust, whose opinions you trust. You probably know, or you probably have a good idea of whose opinions you would trust in case you were to be subject to someone's opinions in your family or your friend circle. Yeah. So I don't need to tell you about that. I mean, it's hard to talk about that specific part of criticism because, well, okay, not all criticism is good, and the purposed or spoken of for a good reason, for a constructive reason that would have you grow from the experience. But filtering out what is good and what is bad is, I mean, trying to filter out anything you would inevitably lose out on something. And so I'm not entirely sure if you should filter out any information at all in that sense. I think that's up to you. But still, the other part of the discussion. I, personally, receive a lot of criticism from myself. Sorry. Self-doubt and everything. Dry mouth. And so while that is good, it could be better, because I'm not the only one giving myself criticism. I'm going to be saying that word a lot in this video. I'd say a real man would probably not just... Okay, well, I wrote it down better here. Let's see. A real man grows not only from the criticism he receives from within, but also from that which he gets from others. It's the same with, you can learn from your own mistakes. Like, man, I really shouldn't shoot myself in the foot. It hurts, and now I'm bleeding. But you can also just look at someone else who made the same mistake and think, maybe I shouldn't shoot myself in the foot because he's hurt and he's bleeding. That's kind of my point with the criticism. You can get criticism from your own self, but you only have your perspective to lean on when you're doing that, which is therefore a limited source of information. If you rely on others as well, then you suddenly multiply that information. And now you're going to be growing faster. The scales make sense. At least it feels like it does. I don't see why you wouldn't grow from getting more criticism, which allows you to grow. The important part there is, of course, the humility to accept that information as if it was true. If you're being doubtful or something like that, you need to accept it as if it was true and act in the situation as if it was. Okay, well, what if this person really is right? What if I am bad at this specific thing? Well, then I'd want to get better at that specific thing. And now you can have a discussion about that. I am lucky to have a friend who gives me criticism for, like, when I fuck up. I'm happy that he does that because, well, I obviously fuck up sometimes. And being told that I did fuck up and how I fucked up and how I could be better in the future, and accepting that as truth because, well, it is, and I can now grow from that, and that's a good thing. I mean, pride hasn't really... I don't think pride has ever helped anyone, really. Pride is often... Oh yeah, it's considered like one of the 7 sins, too, right? It is religion, right? Not the important part. Still, pride isn't... I mean, it can probably be a good thing in some circumstances. It is a tool, just like any other thing. And so you can always find a use for it. But it's often considered a bad thing because it leads to people maybe overreacting, being too protective of their own, well, pride, their own self-worth, instead of trying to grow from what someone else has to say about the situation. So like I said, pride is a wall. It doesn't have a filter. It simply blocks out anything that hits the wall, so to speak. And so you need to still learn to look beyond the wall instead of just staying behind. I think that's a good example, right? Yeah. Right. Having the humility to accept that we are all, by definition, imperfect. And we will always be, but we can still get better. We can still become more, I guess, perfect if we follow this analogy. Is it an analogy? I don't know. Wow, it is getting really dark suddenly. What the fuck? It's the more okay, it's fine. Yeah, having that humility to accept that, and therefore see any and all criticism as a source for self-improvement is important for self-improvement. I can definitely word this better, but I still feel like I'm supplying. You get what I mean. There. How do I stand to you? That's terrible lighting. This is somewhat better. I don't. It suddenly got really dark. The weather's bad today. I've been relying a lot on the sun for good lighting in this cabin because, well, the light is there. I mean, I can do this. Slightly better. Alright, still. I think you get my point. Humility leads to allowing in criticism because you know that you're not perfect, and so taking in any and everything, anything and everything, which can help you grow, will allow you to grow faster than if you didn't. I feel like I'm, yeah. Yeah. I was told recently by my aforementioned friend that I am too crass when it comes to talking about certain problems in society and my opinions on some matters. Specifically when I'm talking to people that have opinions on the other side of that spectrum. And well, he's right. I have been too crass. I have been too direct. I've been too almost confrontational with the way I speak. I've been too focused on proving myself right than trying to get to the goal of having that conversation, discussion, whatever, which is me hopefully convincing the other person of something, whatever. Better information or something, I don't know. Another way of thinking. I'm so sorry about the lighting. Can't really do much about this. And so, for me to I need to take in that criticism by having humility and knowing that I'm not perfect in every discussion and conversation that I might have. I'm absolutely not perfect. I'm absolutely not perfect at trying to convince someone of something. I'm terrible at convincing other people or convincing people of something else that they don't believe in. I think that's a very open statement, but I think that covers it. And so getting that criticism from my friend was really important to me. I got more complimentary criticism from my dad as well regarding the same issue. I've been trying to get my little brother into working out. And he's getting more and more into it. But at the same time, I want to get him away from video games because I consider them being bad for you. And sure, maybe my opinion on that is also wrong, but it's specifically the way I've been trying to convince him that has been wrong. I've been too direct, confrontational, and I haven't. Maybe I win the battle, but I absolutely lost the war, and the war is the point, not the battle. Even if it feels good in the moment, which doesn't serve anyone. So yeah. I'm going to talk more about that specific part, like how to convince people and things, like how to align their point of view with yours in a way. But first I need to learn more about that and become better at that, because I'm terrible at that right now. Yeah. So that'll be that. Take care of yourself, and drink a glass of water. That was a long wait for something underwhelming, but hey, water's good. I'm fucking thirsty. All right, take care. I'm so sorry for the lighting.